from. You got no idea whatsoever, about anything. The name isn't even a clue for you. And so you can actually develop this as a skill that is phenomenal. Hiya, Mary. That is phenomenal. And it's one of those things that I see as a tool for development. That is to say, if you are a reader, doesn't matter where you are and it doesn't matter how advanced you are, using tools develops the very skills you're trying to develop. So that when the tool's not there, that skill remains. Does that make sense? That ability to connect to something without the tool is still there. It's just really a different level of confidence. And I just think that it's a magical, wonderful thing to be able to do. And as for the, you mentioned some people might see it as scarring. I think that's, it's a very personal way to look at rutilated quartz, but they're often used as a healing stone because they have to heal around crystals that are rutilated, have to heal around what is actually another crystal inside them. So they're quite amazing energy. Rutilated quartz is one of my favorite crystals ever.
Thank you.
And isn't it gorgeous? So would you like a reading, Sherry? Would you like me to do one for you?
Yes, and just curious, did that fit the lady at all, or do you know her?
Marie has yet to, I don't know Marie properly, but she's listening, and I don't know if she's actually in the chat at this stage, but I know she's listening or she's around somewhere. Now, I'm going to use the number 3, so everybody can click on the number 3 to see what I'm going to use for. Hiya, Numa, it's great to have you here. I'm going to use the scrying number 3 for you, Sherry, okay? And once we get past the silly little intros that I put on them all because I can't help myself, it's like, give me something to play with artistically, and I'm there's just no stopping me. So I'm using this one for Sherry. So Sherry, I'm going to look at you, and what you do with this one for anybody that's trying it is as soon as you stop it, it's not just the crystal patterns that you've got there, but it's also the little dots and spots that are created by, I added this little wee, comment into it. So you've got the crystal, and so when you stop it, you've got a few things to look at. So scrying, of course, is the same thing that you're doing with tea leaf reading, all of that sort of thing. Oh, poor old Marie. Poor Marie. She goes, oh, no, I was in the other room and heard my name. So sorry. She's going to listen to the archive, and I would love it, Marie, if once you've had a listen to the archive, if you could pop a little note about that under the Psychic Affair post that I did today, and just let us know how Sherry did. And you can tag her there. She's you're a beautiful lady there, aren't you, Sherry? Or are you Sherry Scott? On Chewy Talks. Are you there, Sherry? Oh,
yes.
Am I here?
I'm sorry. I'm here. Sorry, okay. I muted myself.
Oh, that's all good. So here we go. So I've already selected yours. So we're on Scrying 3, and I've actually written Scrying instead of Scrying because I was in a hurry. This was the last one I uploaded that finished 10 minutes before the show. And I was talking to Jenny, and I was going, I hate waiting. It's the longest 2 minutes ever, and I think I finally got it all together with 10 minutes to spare, so that's pretty funny. So what I've got here for you, Sherry, is I've got energy collecting a little bit further away. So I've got it on the left, which I'm seeing as the past. So we've got a present and a future here. So on the left, I've got all of these little dots that are all in a really tight bundle far to the left. And I'm just seeing that as a period of time, possibly a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, where you have what I would call starting to get it together, decided I want to do this and this and this and this and this, and then bringing them all together, and you've been spending all of the time till now working towards that, trying to make all of the different aspects of you, what you like, how you want to live your life, work together, if that makes sense. In the center, the crystal itself, where it's stopped, I've got this really big, almost a pyramid shape, just buffing out into my face. So I'd expect a certain amount of radiating to the Egyptian energies, the Egyptian priestesses. Aromatherapy is also, I don't know if everybody knows this, but aromatherapy originated in Egypt. Did you know that? One of the biggest businesses they had was, in fact, being an aromatherapist, and you would be commissioned to royalty or to the powers that be, and your job was to make them feel good all the time by choosing and selecting the right aromas for them to think clearly, the right aromas for them to relax. So all of that stuff is in play, and that Egyptian priestess, goddess type energy is all in play for you right at present. It's quite large. I would expect you to be thinking about or looking at channeling, specifically channeling. And I've also got what looks like, it almost looks like an arm elbow area. So you may have to watch your arm, you may have to watch your elbow. Make sure you don't do any damage. This is in the very present current moment that I'm looking at. And I've got a faint sort of bluey, mauvey glow through there, which is probably, if it was darkened down and not so light, it would be called indigo. So you'll be relying very heavily, not on intuition, but actually on third eye insight, straight into the third eye insight. If I see a vision of it, if I feel it, if I can imagine it, if it's there, then I know it's attainable, or I know it's for me. It's an interesting kind of energy you've got going there. And as we move forward, you've got a really strong connection. So these little dots, I know you can't see where I stopped it. I should probably, what I will do is I'll just grab that. It won't affect the show at all. I'll just grab it on my thing so that I can show you later, Sherry, or I can post it under the show as well so everybody can see what I was reading exactly. And with the
Okay.
chuck them there, chuck it over there, click yes. With the trail moving away from you into the future, you can actually see it's like an umbilical cord attached to now. So what you're doing now isn't going to change so much as you're going to take that well into your future. It's a direct line. You can see it, which you will see later. You can see it coming out of the crystal and moving forward into what are now more dispersed and more interesting sort of lights that in themselves are just a continuation. And then again, as it gets further away from you, we get this big, bright cluster like a constellation, if you like. And that's the feeling I've got around that. It's that, okay, we connect all these dots that seem quite separate, and then suddenly we see the picture. But until we've connected all the dots or actually made sure or factored in each part, we don't have a constellation at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a constellation is that it's something that you've got to look for to actually see it. So it's not obvious, but it's there when you find and locate every star that makes up that constellation. So I think that's kind of interesting. I think that we're looking then at a bit more of a completion going forward where you haven't achieved it yet. You've done a lot, even if you feel like you might be there or you should be there. You just don't feel that completion. It doesn't mean you haven't done enough work either, by the way. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means whatever it is that you are looking for, that I've got all I need right now, you're still not quite feeling it, but you know you're on the right track because you're going to follow that track forward. So I hope you enjoyed that. Ta-da. She's done that again. Kaboom. All right, I'm going to mute you up there, Sherry, and then we can move along. I've got Kirk, I've got Mary, and I have got Esther. Esther was online first. Esther, you're live on air. How are you today?
I'm good.
Excellent. Is it fun to listen and watch me at the same time pulling stupid faces and moving about while I'm talking to you?
Yes. Yeah.
It's what everybody has to put up with. It's quite funny. It's like, she never sits still.
No, you don't. I'm looking at you. I'm like back and forth, back and forth.
back and forth, all over the place. So what can I do for you today? Esther, would you like a reading? Would you like me to scribe? You got a particular question? What would you like? I'm yours.
You could read for me.
I can read
I just
for you,
wanted to listen to the show.
Oh, I saw your mic, you see. I saw your mic and I just threw it on in there. Well, how about I just do a straight scry for you? Or You've got a choice. I can pop you back quietly, and when we do the next secret Santa reading that everybody gets to choose somebody to read for or do a reading for somebody else, you can pop into that. I can make sure your name's part of that crowd if you like. I want to say, though, without even looking at the crystal balls and knowing that this is a show about scrying, I've got a lot of very, very olive-coloured green down what would be just on the inside of your scapula. So this sort of area here, and it's fairly high. It may sometimes cause you a little bit of discomfort in that area. You may get like either a pointed pain just up at that part, and you might feel like you've got to shift it or move it or stretch it or rotate it. But it's an interesting energy because olive green has always got that component of yellow, which is development, social, wanting to have things work. And the green that's olive has a touch of grey in it. So green being that, I know people think green is healing, but it's more than healing. In this case, you're talking about wanting to be able to take care of the details, that means you're detail-oriented, in other words. So you like to make sure you've crossed your T's, dotted your I's, finished the job, do everything correctly. But the grey aspect of it is you might put a lot of pressure on yourself to do that, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all right. That's just a wee quick look at your aura there, and it stood out. So it's one of those things that if you could relax it a little bit, you might find that it doesn't distress you or cause you any problems. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll pop you aside, but you were on call, so we will come back to you, Miss Esther. Okay?
Okay.
If that's okay with you. Do you want to
Yeah.
have a go at doing a reading?
Sure.
Okay. Have you got the link up with the pictures? With my videos?
No.
So in the middle there, see the crystal ball to the left, there's writing.
Right.
See, I'm running over it. You click that and it'll open the page, which is my website on Intuit Talks with 3 scrying videos. You can choose any one of those, and I'm going to choose a name for you. Okie dokie. And let's have a look who's there.
Oh, wait, I don't want to do that right first.
I don't want to do that. That's okay. You didn't understand. You wanted me to scry for you. I can do that. I don't want to disappoint you.
Okay.
Okay. So, she's like, help me, no. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, so I've got the top one. I'm doing Scrying 2 for anybody who wants to look. Now, I've developed this video, so I'll talk a little bit about that. I've put these snow things on it because when you do that, suddenly you've got an extra component to read. If you're learning to scry, if you're practicing, then you look at something like this, you click stop, and that's what you read at that point, thinking of the person's name. Now, the first thing I've got for you out there is I've got 2 very bright stars, like little flakes, and this means there's 2 main focuses in your life right at the moment as you're moving forward. There's 2 things that are very important to you, not 3, not 4, not 1. And at the bottom of that, I've got a bit of a smudgy look around the bottom of the crystal. It's a rose quartz, this one, around the bottom of the crystal. And the interesting thing about that is I think that you could get distracted perhaps, or you lose focus a bit in your life. And so these things are sort of like what you use to draw yourself back, if that makes sense for you. It's like, oh, I've got to bring myself back to focus on study. I've got to bring myself back to focus on what the job is at hand. I've also got, just to the left of that, I've got what looks to be it's an S. So that's another thing you're looking at too. If you're scrying, if you've got numbers or dates that are of interest to you, or names are of interest to you, future lovers, future jobs, look for patterns that are numbers, look for patterns that are letters. So I'm seeing a definite S there. And at the top, I've got just a dark shadow, which isn't there through the whole thing. I've stopped this just about all the way through. And that dark shadow just sort of says to me, maybe sometimes you do struggle a bit to see the positive, or you struggle to see what the potential outcome is. You may be a bit of a downer on yourself, is what I'm saying there, really. You may get into be a little bit critical. You're not doing enough. You're not working hard enough, or you can't see that there's a whole lot of value in the future for the things that you're doing right now. I don't think that's ongoing permanent energy for you, but I think it's just sort of there when you get a bit down, or you're feeling a bit alone, or if things aren't quite going right. It's the one that you sort of go to. It's your go-to depression energy. We all have it. We all have a go-to thing. You know, some people vacuum very quickly, and other people sit there and wonder why they're bothering. You know, does that make any sense for you, Miss?
Yes.
Esther?
Yes.
with the clouds thing, you know, you can actually resolve that a little bit by just bringing those 2 stars. Those 2 bright stars are amazing, and I know that they call your attention, whether they're children or whether that's a combination of family and career or study, but they are really amazing for you. So you can deliberately bring your focus to them. And I'm not sure about the S. I'm just literally reading that. I'm trying not to read anything beyond what I'm seeing here, because that's just to demonstrate it. I hope that's fun for you. And you're welcome. So I've muted you now, Esther. I've muted you, and I'm picking up the next call is Kirk. Kirk, how are you? Kirk, you're live on air.
Hello. Hi there. How are you doing, Dorothy?
Very good, thank you. Great to see you. Nice. Did you ever get that on TV? You know, nice to see you. Nice. Do you want to have a go at doing a reading, Kirk?
I was looking at that ball, and I was looking at it. I'm a novice. I would love to have you scry for me, because I have never ever seen this before. Can I observe it while you're doing it, or no?
Yes, you can. So I'm going to do for